Alright, so today I'm going to be reviewing the Schaaf Premium Whittling and Spoon Carving Set. This is a Schaaf product that has been on the market for a very short period of time because it was sent to me, I should say at the beginning of this. They did send me this tool set. That was not paid. I was not asked to make a video. They did just send it to me, and I figured, oh, might as well use that opportunity to make a video from it. Now that said, this did just come out recently, and it's $87 on Amazon, and that comes out to, what is that, roughly 15 bucks a tool, and then what, a couple bones for the other accessories, something like that. So it's affordable. We know that Schaaf is Chinese made, and I should say that on the bottom, yep, made in China. And so just very curious to figure out or to see what they've done here with this. I've got a piece of wood, a block of wood handy. So without further ado, let's get into this. Let's get into this review. There's the block of wood. I should say quickly before we go too much further that if you are trying to learn about carving realistic portraiture, faces, the human face especially, but male, female, young and old, all that, check out my online school in the link below. It's a resource that you can use to grow your skills in carving portraiture and many other types of projects as well, like greenery, like plants, plant life, wildlife, etc. So, all right, I haven't had my coffee yet, can you tell? All right, let's get into this. So it's like a magnet strip type thing. See this? It's kind of cool, actually. I like that. All right. So we've got, what is this? That's a heavy duty box right there, I'll tell you what. How did we do? I'm not, okay, this is like a feedback sheet. Okay, thank you, nice. Good with that. Let's move this piece of wood. Some felt here, sort of nice felt soft, and we've got a canvas tool roll. It actually looks pretty nice. It's a decent tool roll. It's fairly soft, it's not super stiff. And okay, we've got a strop. It looks like about I don't know, I'm gonna say a 5.5, 6 inch strop. We've got some honing compound green. My guess is, and typically is the case, that green compound is kind of a medium, middle of the road in terms of cutting speed. So that's a good compound for, if only I had a knife to cut this open with. It's a good compound for, that's not the right one, but wow, what the heck is that? That is a wild, watch me cut myself in this, shaped knife, wild shaped knife. So green is it's a good compound. This is a very dark green, wow, I've never seen that. So the idea here would be you'd want to rub the compound on the strop. Most of you know this if you're watching a carving video, but if you're new to this stuff, this is how you sharpen your tools, right? You'd apply the compound to the leather, and you would use the leather on a flat surface to sharpen, treating it almost like you would a sanding stone or something like that, sharpening stone, matching that bevel, right? There's kind of two bevels here. There's this flat part here, and then there's the actual blade cutting part. So you'd want to go parallel to that. So it would look like this. You'd be meeting at about this angle, slightly tilted, and you'd be just like so. You'd be dragging it. In this case, with this shape, you would be arching the tool as you pull it through. So it's a difficult and different way of approaching sharpening than a straight blade, but I digress. Back to the review. This is nice. I like that we've got this little leather strap here, and yeah, is this real? Yeah, I think that's real leather. It's interesting. It has like a rubberized backing to it, so it's a thinner piece. It's not a full hide. It's a thinner piece of leather with a rubberized backing, which might prevent it from sliding, I guess. That's kind of cool. All right, so we got that. And we have our, this is I'm forgetting the technical term for it, but it's a sweep scorp of sorts. It's a pull. This would be a knife you would use in spoon carving to do shallow scoops. This is not a spoon, this is not a typical, what am I trying to say, a hook knife, in that it's a lot more shallow. So do I have a use for this? Not at all. Not for me personally, but I could see if you were into spoon carving that might come in handy. I mean, first impressions of this handle is that it's nice and sturdy. It is definitely a little bit nicer and thicker than the, I want to say, the, oh boy, my brain is falling out today. What is the brand? I see, Schaaf is so set on my brain right now. Beavercraft, there we go. See the handle on this one? This is the Beavercraft handle. It's kind of funky, and it's kind of thin at the end, and I don't know, I don't love this handle shape. It's got a wider belly for grip, which is fine, I guess, that's fine. But I actually prefer the handle on the Schaaf. Although I don't love that it widens up a ton on the back. I'd rather just be consistent all the way through. But I don't know, different strokes. This is opinion oriented. To me, it's not super ergonomic. Although, I don't know, I say I like the Schaaf better, but I might like the Beavercraft in the hand. I mean, I like the look of the Schaaf better, but this might feel more ergonomic. So, anyway. The tools are as follows. Okay, so we've got, is there a list of the tools in here? It doesn't really seem to outline them. Nor on the Amazon link, if I click on that, does it show me a list of the type of tools. Yeah, I'm looking through it right now as we speak. It's showing, okay, let's go to what's included. Let's see what we got there. 5 essential wood carving tools, protective blade sheaths. Okay, here it is. Okay, my bad. Okay, so we've got a shallow hook knife. So as we, yep, there's our shallow hook knife. We talked about this earlier. Then we've got a, this is a general rough out knife, which I would agree with. This seems to be a good, although very thick. Is this their detail or their general rough out? What on earth? There's so much here. No, this is their general rough out knife right here. Okay, so now this is a very practical shape. I really like the shape of this blade, and I've used blades like this for a long time because, you know, here's a peek of my Helvy knife. This is called a skewed detail knife, as it's called by Flexcut. But if you've been following me, you know that I really like this style of blade. Okay, so we've got the shallow hook knife. We've got the general rough out knife. And somewhere in here is a spoon carving knife. Let's look at that. So this one, by the way, they would consider a chip carving knife. I just saw that. It's a chip knife, and it's not a typical chip angle, which is, that's fine by me. I don't do a ton of chip carving, so I would probably not even use it for chip carving. But I want to say something off the bat that I like about these tools so far, as I'm testing it, because I don't want to just be talking the whole time. I like that there's a straight bevel. Notice from the heel, from the back edge of the blade to the cutting edge, it's one straight shot. And that is what you want to see in a quality carving tool. Now, that's not necessarily a dead giveaway that it's a good tool, but it is a good sign. And, you know, the edge is, it's cutting. It's cutting. It's not razor sharp. In fact, it's not, I wouldn't even say it's as sharp as the Beavercraft out of the box. I don't know if it's a pretty thick blade. You can see the thickness of that blade is fairly substantial, right? But, and it cuts. It does cut. It does require quite a bit of force. And just as an example, here's the Beavercraft. And that is definitely cutting a lot better. So I'll be interested to see how this knife takes a stropping, and if that makes a big difference. So let's go ahead and do a little stropping on that so we don't judge it prematurely. Let's see how it does with a little stropping. You know, I probably would just throw out this green compound and buy yourself a thing of ZAM, Z-A-M, which is I think it's probably a better quality product. The speed at which this is cutting is pretty weak as opposed to ZAM. You can tell this is not a as aggressive a cutting paste as the ZAM is. So I'd pick the ZAM up. But yeah, let's see. And it does have a little micro bevel on it, which I didn't notice before, but a tiny little micro. See that shine? Here. See that shine right at the edge? That's a micro bevel, which we don't really need. Yeah, I mean, again, it's that micro bevel is what's making this not quite as effective at cutting, but it needs to be a straight shot. You see, I actually prefer the blade profile of the Schaaf to the Beavercraft because of the continuous Scandi design. Anyway, I digress. Moving on, let's try out this general purpose knife that they have here. Oh yeah, that's better. Is it though? Is it better? It's leaving some lines in the wood. It's not bad. Yeah, I mean, it's got a very peculiar behavior into the wood. Oh, it's treating that end grain very nicely though. But it wants to cut, it really wants to dig in quickly wants to dig in. And I'm not so sure I like that. This is my Badger State blade, which is a fantastic blade. It's an awesome blade. See how that cuts through? I'm gonna get this guy up here. And this is doing, it really wants to dig in. I don't know what that is about the profile. It's just maybe the thickness of the blade. It's just really wants to dig in. So it's kind of cumbersome to use. Let's try. This one's not quite cutting in as much, but it doesn't have the sharpness that you'd hope for, that you'd probably even get in a Badger State blade. So it's not bad, and if you're not used to having a sharp blade, this is going to feel pretty sharp to you. But at least this particular set is not as sharp as I'd like. Okay, here's the detail knife. So this is the one that I would be using most often, most comparable to the Beavercraft and the Badger State blade. This is the profile that I use most of the time. All right, so let's see how this one goes. If this one's, yeah, it's just not as sharp as I'd like to see it be. I mean, it's doing its job okay, but it's not. Yeah, it's just, it could be better. I wish I could say that it was a little bit better than it is, to be honest. It's just a little bit lackluster. It takes quite a bit of work. It's going to tire you out a lot quicker than even the Beavercraft. Man, these names have got me today, guys. Oh, this is cool though. See the thing about these tools that's really throwing me off, and I'll have to do a follow-up video of maybe sharpening these to see, because I know Schaaf is known for having some pretty good metal in their tools. I'm wondering if these tools need a little bit of just some time on a strop, because they look really good. Oh, okay. No, this one's doing a little better. It's not perfect, but it's a little better. It's scooping nicely. It's a little bit sharper, I think, in some ways than the others. Again, not amazingly sharp. I'd like to see it a little sharper, but more competing with the hook knives from Beavercraft. All these B names, Badger State, Beavercraft. Yeah, I mean, it really is. It's not a bad set, and I think the difficulty is with it. See, now that base, now it's cutting a lot better down here at the base. You know, I think there's a lot of potential. I feel like a little torn about this set, because there's a lot of potential here. The design is really good. Looks like there's a little chip in this blade. I'm not sure if that's affecting the cut. Yeah, just leaving a little bit of a spot. So, you know, stuff that you would need to work out with a sharp. Well, that's actually a pretty significant little dent. Can you guys see that? A little dent right there. You can see the reflection. So, you know, is this as good as the Beavercraft? It's just different. You know, I mean, it has its strengths, it has its weaknesses. I think it's not quite as sharp, actually, as the Beavercraft. but it remains to be seen if the steel can hold a really good edge. I think based on Schaaf's other products that it should be okay. I should be able to hold an edge. And the more I use this all-purpose knife that they've sent, the more the general rough out knife, the more I'm actually sort of liking it. It's not that bad, it really wants to dig in, but once you get past that and a little nick in it, if you probably spent a little bit of time fixing the bevel, doing a little work on reprofiling, getting that dent out, or stropping the crap out of it and seeing if that helps. This could be a really useful knife, and it is a nice profile. It's a little long for me. I'd probably end up using the detail knife more, and the interesting thing is the detail knife actually has the same blade profile as the Beavercraft rather, where it has that shorter bevel and it doesn't go all the way to the back. It's still a Scandi grind, but this one really disappointed me, this little knife, because it cuts and it works, but it just doesn't quite have the zip that some of the other makers like the Flexcut has. Yeah, so it's not a bad set. Although I need some more testing. More testing needs to be done, but get a little bit more time with this tool. Huh. Yeah, I almost like a little bit of a belly on a bevel for a blade. Like a little bit, you can see that rolling light coming off of this. I like a little bit of that belly. It kind of deflects the chips. It prevents it from digging in too much. But I mean, just spending a little bit more money and just getting a good tool, I mean, does make life so much easier. And you know, this is a little bit more expensive per blade than is the Beavercraft. So would I get these as opposed to the Beavercraft? Well, if you need these profiles, if you're interested in using these profiles, this scoop knife, rather, hook knife, you know, the shallow hook knife, if you're interested in the chip knife, some of these variations and shapes and kind of experimenting with stuff, this could be a good set to buy and learn about sharpening. You're going to have to learn about sharpening. You're probably going to want to get better honing compound, because I'm not sure that this stuff does much. I mean, you give it enough time and it will, but the honing compound makes a huge difference. So I would invest in a decent honing compound if I'm going to buy a kit that's costing me 87 bucks. It's a little better there. Anyway, that's my input. I would say this is a fine set. It does need to be tuned up though. So if you're buying a set, you're expecting to just kind of get right into carving. At least with this particular set, I would say it does need some work. It does need some polishing to really get it to a state of being razor sharp and really nice to carve with. Although for bark and for softer woods, you'd probably be fine for a while. Get yourself some better stropping compound. The strop is fine. That's all, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Take your vitamins. Check out the online carving school in the link below and all that stuff. Thanks to Schaaf for sending the tool set, and talk to you guys later.